Good day everyone, and welcome to the channel. I'm Trix, and I talk about, well, lots of things. Today I'm going to be talking about something a bit different. I'm going to be talking about Tempest Dynasty, which is an upcoming RTS game by THQ Nordic. THQ Nordic are trying to bring back old school RTS games in the name of, well, the old school. However, in a couple of interviews they've also noted that there's going to be some RPG-like elements within this game, and that means we might be seeing some sort of like Generals update or Generals powers a la CNC Generals, or maybe Warcraft 3 with the abilities are given to certain heroes. But it says it's going to carry on from mission to mission, so perhaps it will enable you to unlock cheaper tanks or equipment. As someone who was on a lot of bases, especially for the CNC genre and CNC games after, well, since Red Alert 2 really, up until Generals 2, the long suffering Generals sequel, which basically got killed off. There is not much to say except that this game is obviously a homage to Tiberian Sun, to Tiberian Dawn, and to CNC 3. We will ignore CNC 4 because of the horrific, whatever it was, it's indescribable. However, THQ Nordic seem to be very, very heavily influenced by Command & Conquer. The Tempest Dynasty, who are the bad guys, and the, wait for it, the Global Defense Forces are the good guys. However, you can really see that the Tempest Dynasty are not, and the Global Defense Forces are the GDI. We only have a few screens and a few images and a few kind of videos relating to them. We can't say much more than that, except we can have a look at some of the units. There's obviously some sort of helicopters, some laser artillery, your base standard troopers, and your refinery system a la Command & Conquer. But going from that, appearances can be deceptive, and while I do trust THQ a lot more than I trust EA at this point in time, you have to take games like this with huge salt, in my opinion. Simply because people have tried to do it before. Grey Goo tried to do it before. Act of Aggression tried to do it before. And while they were pretty decent games in themselves, they did not re-energize the genre that THQ are trying to do with Tempest Rising. Yes, I call it Tempest Dynasty before, because one of the fractions is called Tempest Dynasty. It does mention on their website, which I will link in the description, about a third faction. Will they be Skrin? Will they be mutants? We don't know. However, I want to point out a few things that I've noticed in regards to this game and its homages to the Tiberian Sun or Tiberian Dawn or Tiberian universe in itself. And we're going to ignore 4, and we're going to ignore that awful mobile game that they brought out a while ago and then they killed off. So we have to look at a few things before we can really pass judgment on this game. And while I again say that THQ have probably got better chance than say EA at the moment, when they tried to do CNC 4 and they killed off Generals 2, everyone thought that EA was going to start listening to the player base when they did their anniversary edition of Command & Conquer and Red Alert 1. This was basically just a homage and probably just something that they could keep the license ticking over with. We don't know what situation the game is in at the moment because there is no news on a remaster of Tiberian Sun. There is no news of a remaster of Red Alert 2 and Jury's Revenge, unfortunately. I will note that the FMVs are in Tempest Rising are computer generated. They're not live action as Command & Conquer like to do them. So, you know, you've got to take these things with an open mind but a skeptical one, as I've said, because, you know, we've been let down before, and we've been let down by big companies before, especially Blizzard with Warcraft 3 Reforged. That was probably the worst remaster that I can imagine, and I'm not going to go down the road of bashing them more than that. Blizzard are fully capable of making themselves look horrible without anyone else adding to the problem. Chris Metzger's leaving of that company has probably sealed its doom, in my opinion, and that's all I want to say on it. So, we're going to look at Tempest Rising as it goes through its opening to the public, and as someone who is a beta tester for a lot of CNC games, at the moment I'm cautiously optimistic, but again, erring on the side of caution. if you're interested in Tempest Rising and want me to cover more about the fractions and stuff like that, please leave a comment in the description and we'll see how we go from there. Thank you all for your time. As you can see, I'm a big fan of that type of game. I'm a big fan of Alpha Centauri as well, which I will do a video on probably another time. Thank you all for your time. I'm Trix, the Mangry Goblin, and bye bye.